I was thinking about how when we're trying to help someone and you as a leader, you might want to see the whole thing through. And I'm gonna use this portion of a scripture, and at the moment I can't think of the proper context to it, so I might be talking out of context. But here's the idea. There's that scripture that says, some water, some plant, some water, but God gives the increase. That means you, man or woman of God, you might come along to whoever, to some person or some situation, and maybe all you get to do is plant the seed. You don't get to stick around to see it come up. All you do is plant the seed, and you don't even get a chance to do the watering. All you did was got seed in the ground. That was it. And then you had to move on for whatever reason. Some water, someone else gonna come along and water the seed that you just put in the ground, and somebody's gonna keep watering it until it starts to sprout up. And then that scripture said, God gives the increase. In our mind, we often see that as when the plant grows up and starts to sprout fruit, leaves and fruit. That's God giving the increase. But something that happens when God has given the increase, when the plant has sprouted up, when this person has become a live, living tree, vine, bush with leaves and fruit on it, somebody has to now do the pruning. And sometimes, man or woman of God, oftentimes, man or woman of God, we get to do the pruning. Pruning hurts. Putting the seed in the ground didn't hurt. Putting the seed in the ground was nice because it provided a nice, warm, soft place for this seed to be able to grow, take root, and bust open and begin to grow. Watering it refreshed it again and again and again and again. And then as it started to sprout up and become a vine or become a tree or become a plant that we could see above the soil and one that we can partake of the fruit from, that feels good because you feel like you're being productive, you're being successful, things are happening. And a lot of times when people, so I'm using this as an analogy, when people have gone through this process and now they are seemingly this nice, healthy bush, vine with fruit, and people are, I'm able to help you, and the Lord is using me this way, and the Lord is, I'm this for the, it feels good. That's that tree that God has given the increase. And then a leader who is higher, on a higher level, in our case, an elder might come to a minister and say, yeah, I'm going to have to do a little bit of pruning. This is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. Actually, no, it's going to hurt you too. We're going to have to do some pruning. Pruning hurts, but it is part of the growth process. It's the thing that helps keep the plant healthy. It is the thing that helps keep the plant alive. A lot of times, if you do not prune, the dead pieces of a plant will rob the healthy pieces. So pruning is so important. And so men and women of God, elders, pastors, fivefold, we get to do pruning. And pruning hurts. Pruning hurts. And a lot of times, so this is still along the same line of conversation I've been having. When you go to prune, because as an elder, as a fivefold leader, you have to prune. When you go and do the pruning, that minister, that MIT, that member, whomever that you cut some stuff away from, they get upset. They don't like it. And they take it out on you, man or woman of God. They take it out on you because you had to prune. And they take it out on you. They think you have treated them wrong. They think you have treated them bad. They think you don't like them when really you love them. And you love them too much to let that dying, decaying leaf that diseased leaf stay on them. So you prune it and they get upset. Man or woman of God, be strong in the Lord. Do the work that you have to do. Explain what you're doing, explain why you're doing it, but don't draw back from what needs to be done. Don't over prune, but don't draw back from what has to be done. Years ago, my mom had this plant in her backyard, and I went to town to visit her, and she was like, my plant is just dying. Look at it. It's like I water it and it won't, it won't come back to life. And I said, Mom, I'm gonna have to cut all that off. You're gonna cut off my plant? If you want this plant to live, you're not going to be able to keep watering these dead plants, these dead leaves, and they come back to life. If you want this plant to live, we got to cut all that away. I mean, and it was dead all over the place. And she's just looking at it. And so I gave her a day to process. And the next day, ready to go outside and cut the plant. And she wasn't ready for me to cut the plant. I was like, I got to do it. If you want this plant, I've got to cut this away. I got my, I can't even think of the name of the things, shears, scissors, whatever they're called. Went on outside and started cutting the thing away, cutting the plant. I cut it down to nothing because she had been watering this dead plant for so long. It just kept growing dead, long and dead. And she's standing looking outside the window, looking like I had just killed somebody. She was just so hurt. And I kept looking back at her, and I'm just like, don't look at her. Don't just do what you need to do. Don't look. And I mean, she was sad. I'm getting teary-eyed just talking about she was sad. I cut the thing down to nothing. But there was a little bit of healthy plant at the bottom, and there was healthy root in the soil. Cut it down to nothing, put on a little more soil, watered it. And then when I came on back in the house, I think she was mad at me. And I told her, if you water it and don't over water it, your plant will come back to life. Talked to her about that. Went on back to California. I was just hurt because I hurt my mom. But I know, even though I hurt my mother because she didn't understand pruning. But as someone who understands pruning, I know I was helping her, but it hurt me to hurt her so that I could help her. I go on back to California a couple months later, she said, guess what? My plant, it's got flowers and this and that and the other. She sent me a picture. She was so happy because she had her plant back. But in order for her to get her plant back, she had to let me prune it. And in order for her to get her plant back, I had to hurt her and prune her plant. The same is true when we're growing up, men and women of God, from laity to ministers in training, to ministers, to elders. There is a pruning. Pruning is part of the growth process. Pruning hurts. The best thing we can do as the person who's being pruned is understand this pruning is a part of my growth process. It is the thing that's going to make me be prolific. Without this pruning, I will not be prolific. Without this pruning, as much fruit as I'm going to bear has already been born. And I will not bear anymore unless, oh my God, I'm about to stop because I'm about to get a whole new sermon, unless I let this pruning take place. And then, men and women of God who are doing the pruning, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Do the work. Prune when it is time to prune. Do it in love, but know that you have to prune. I'm stopping right here.